21 questions. Love edition. Why I picked this one first? No clue. Because let's see. All right, so number one. What examples of romantic love did you have as a kid? Well, I am, like as many around me, a child of divorce, and so, and then my stepfather who came in, we didn't really have a great relationship, the typical stepson, stepfather thing, and I never really saw much romance growing up. So yeah, I didn't really have much of an example of romantic love growing up, except for from maybe movies. And then what movies? I didn't like, I wasn't a kid that was like, oh, let me go watch this rom-com. So, um, yeah, there wasn't that many examples. There really wasn't. Um, yeah, except for generic examples of like, just Hallmark garbage crap. Okay, move on. Number two, as a kid, what kind of love life did you expect to have when you grew up? Well, growing up and then discovering that I am a homosexual. So there was definitely a kind of transition into the like just expectation of what would happen when I grow up, like get married, have a girlfriend. I had girlfriends and stuff, like when I was in junior high, and then just realized like, hmm, this isn't really doing it for me. And yeah, so that was a definite transition. But like, so I I can't say that I spent a whole lot of time imagining like, oh, what is it going to be like when I fall in love? I was always in love. Like I was constantly falling in love and then getting my heart stomped on and then continuing on with my life and then, falling into the same trap again with these, straight boys that, they like me as a friend, but yeah, so there's that. Um, and I go roundabout with so like if you're looking for the human condition, there's going to be a whole lot of conditioning going on. So I hope it's not like too much. Um, how old were you when you had your first boyfriend, girlfriend? Girlfriend like elementary school, like first grade type stuff, but like real I would have to say like, because in junior high I would, date girls and then like look at the guys and then um so yeah, like there was just a bunch of insignificant ones. I would break up with them, then date them again, then break up with them, and then date them again, pertaining to girls. And I was like in junior high. Um, so yeah, I would say like, insignificant ones throughout like childhood, but my first like real significant, um, I would have to say like 16, because I had a car then. I'd go hang out with my friend. Cool. Uh, what is the longest relationship I've had? The longest relationship I've had was, I think, like 3 years, and it was a dumpster fire the whole time. He helped me out. I was, in my addiction, and we met over an app, and it was a hookup turned, oh, this guy's actually kind of cool. And then I was struggling to find a place to live, and he moved me in because he wanted to help me and save me and blah, blah, blah. But whenever that happens, kids, even if you start to not like each other, you're kind of stuck together. So, lesson learned. So that was the longest relationship I've had, but it really probably was propelled or perpetuated by need instead of want, which is just so sad. It was so sad, but I learned a lot. Um, ooh, what is your type? Do you have one? Okay, so in the gay community, they call them bears. I'm more attracted to heavy set guys. Now, I prefer like tall guy and like like not bodybuilder, but like just typically if you weigh under 200 pounds, I'm not like really into it. But people think that that automatically means like chubby guys, and like though yeah, I'm not like necessarily opposed. Like I like the guy to seem like fit, like skin tight, you know what I mean? Like, but just kind of like world's strongest man almost, just big guys, like 6'2", 230 pounds. I'm here for it. Um, but as I'm getting older, I'm realizing that there's a lot of like potential trauma based when it comes to that kind of stuff. And I'm like, why be so narrow? Like, why not just expound on my preferences and, really analyze why? Because if I date somebody and they're thick and then but they're not healthy, then that's not I don't want that. So it's been a recent kind of prodding and contemplation I've been having. And it's something I actually was very embarrassed about for a long time. And it's been like that since the first guy, the very first guy. Um, I will call him Danny Boy. Danny Boy was a linebacker on the junior high football team. So it was like that from the get-go, pretty much. Once I like realized what these little stirrings felt, what they were. What is a red flag when dating someone new? I can't say that I've had enough just like actual dates to be able to say that. But I would have to say, like, when dating somebody new, a red flag is not being the conversation not flowing. If it seems like constant, like like the whole time, like it's cool to have a little bit of that. But if it's just kind of like, and then if you're on your phone all the time, if you're just now like starting to date somebody and you're on your phone, both either one of y'all, and you're just like, no, 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 sweetheart. That should be a time to like be away from the phone and like finally being like, okay, finally someone is actually in front of me who I'm interested in. Like, let me put the phone away. I finally have a reason to. What is a green flag when dating someone new? Um, Consistency. I'd have to say consistency. Um, and not rushing necessarily. Like, if everyone's trying to rush into it, then I mean, I get it. Maybe love at first sight. Sometimes it just flows like that, but most of the time it doesn't. So I have to really like when it goes slow and it's a slow building, it's a process. So yeah, green flags whenever not trying to rush into it too fast. And if there seems to be some kind of like wanting to hold back, for there to be some place to grow to. How do you feel about the butterfly stage? First few months. Can I swear on this? Like, I effing hate, can't, I, the butterfly stage or the honeymoon period, I guess you call it, some people, it's confusing. It is so effing disorienting because, the newness of everything can really pull the wool over the eyes. And even when trying to find a reason, like, it's very confusing. And I feel like it's similar, um, regardless of how toxic or non-toxic the relationship is. There's always just going to be dopamine and serotonin and stuff. Like, yeah, so I don't like it. I don't like it at all. How long do you think couples should wait to move in together? Not 2 weeks, that's for sure. Uh, um, there's no right or wrong answer. For me, it it depends. I mean, there has to be a lot of time invested, and it has to be based on want. It can't be based on need. And I think that if anyone does move in together, the finances, like there should be a nest egg for both of them. There should be everybody has like so if anything happens where said relationship dissolves, that everyone can go their own direction without being chained down to the other person. So like if someone moves in but they don't have, the ability to go get their own apartment, then there's no ability to there then there's and it's need and then there's it's an obligation at that point, and that sucks. What are your thoughts on marriage? I think that it's a piece of paper. The only reason that I think marriage is even necessary is because that I want my partner to be able to have say or get my finances if I pass away or something. So it's always like very end game when it comes to anything about marriage or anything like that. And so I think that it's not completely necessary, but I think that it's over what am I call it? It's overrated, but not completely unnecessary. What are your thoughts on relationship counseling? Most of the time, if you get that point, you're probably already done. But I think that anything can be saved, in my opinion. Like with enough attention and dedication and patience, relationships, love can be found. Love can always be found. So I think that in theory, it's great, especially if there's kids involved and they want to hold the relationship together. But how long have you been together? Like, if you've been together for like 40 years, then yeah, hell yeah, like figure that shit out. Figure that out. But if it's like 6 months in, rip cord, eject, eject. What are your thoughts on infidelity? I think that there's no reason for it. I think that, yeah, it's just for me, that's too much effort. Like, I can barely keep up with one dude. I don't want to have to keep up with two. Like, and then having to keep, I don't lie because it's too complicated. Um, so I think it's garbage. And if it happens, then the relationship probably should just be done. Um, do you want a life partner? Yeah, that's like it's very much on top of my list. Um, and it's complicated, sort of, trying not to force it, trying to allow it to be natural, but then, keep my eye out. Yeah, so and I'm in a potential relationship that's forming while we're like 1,500 miles away from each other. He moved to Vegas. So, yeah. I see him though next month, soon, making it work. So, um, yeah, we'll see where that goes. Do you feel couples should share phone passwords? I think that there shouldn't be any reason why you can't look at my phone, um, at all. Like, you should be able to pick up my phone and me not worried about it. I feel like if there is any resistance, yeah, I mean, I feel like they should be feel comfortable. I don't think that there should be a reason to even have that come up though. In a happy, healthy relationship, it would just be like it just wouldn't come up. So yeah, there's that for you. Um, do you think couples should share a bank account? No, no, not really, not at all. I think that finances should be kept separate. Um, the more you intertwine, the more pressure there is. The more pressure there is, the more chance that there is something can snap. So just keep it light for as long as possible. Do you think opposites attract? Yeah, definitely. They attract and sometimes they work, but with all of that, with everything, because like if you're too similar, you're gonna fight. If you're too opposite, you're gonna fight. Everyone's gonna fight all the time. But communication is key. So everything attracts everything, I think. Do you believe in soulmates? No, I believe different people for different times in your life, and I feel like there's a component of choice. I think that if there is soulmates, then there's a lot for each person. Like it's just personality that meshes. Is there a couple that you know or follow that you idolize? Absolutely not. Because anything that is portrayed, it could be false, it could be, and it probably is. Like it's the best of them, and so I don't know what's behind those closed doors, and I don't want to know most of the time. So no, I do not idolize any couple. Do I respect couples? Yeah. Um, anything I can think in particular right now? No. Um, is there a couple? Oh, I know. 19. What factors would you say need to be present for a healthy relationship? Trust, communication, patience, and growth. I think that the relationship should be two, growing people, but that are foundationally stable. Foundation is key. And I think that longevity, like before, because I've been talking to this person for over a year now, and like I had to get some things fixed with me. He had to get to where he needed to be. And so there's just growth and evolution and commitment, and wanting to make the other person happy. What factors would you say need to be 20. What is one hard lesson you have learned in love? That when you have a bunch of drugs, everyone is your best friend or lover or whatever. And when they're gone, your heart gets stomped on. So that is one hard lesson. The other hard lesson is that even though I can feel one way, that if I don't or analyze the root nature of the relationship or the love, which, because I have learned this little word called codependency, and codependency leads to dumpster fires, which leads to pain and suffering, and especially when you don't realize it and you just continue to the same toxic cycles forever. Um, yeah, this has been an interesting one. I like this. This is making me think things like so this is cool. Um, Anyways, what relationship advice would you give to your younger self? Absolutely none. That younger self has to go through the same bullshit that I did. I don't know if I can swear, but in case this is in case you want to utilize this kind of this in a thing, and if it needs to be PC or not PC, rated G, what relationship advice would you give to your younger self? Again, I would say none. That I had to deal with it. He has to deal with it too. And I'm a rather decent person these days. And I think that my understanding of love and relationships and all that came from all that pain and all that putting the eggs in the wrong basket. So yeah, I would leave that MFer in the dark. Anyways, again, I really hope that this was beneficial, or that it was helpful. I feel like I answered the questions as thoroughly as possible, and I spoke loudly and clearly. I think I spoke clearly. And yeah, there we go. So I don't know if I'm supposed to edit these or if y'all just take the raw footage. So until you tell me otherwise, here's the raw footage, and it's probably more fun that way. Anyways, okay. Anyways, thanks again. Shane signing out.